Every year on the same day, Harrison Whitaker made the same quiet journey. No security detail, no entourage, no luxury car with blacked-out windows. Just a grieving father retracing the path his heart had taken so many times before. 3 years had passed since he lost his only son, Caleb, and each visit to the grave felt like tearing open a wound that had never healed. The world knew Harrison as a billionaire, powerful, reserved, a fortress of control. But none of that mattered here. Today, like every year on this date, he wasn't a tycoon or media mogul. He was just a man standing before a headstone, trying to summon the courage to face the void his son had left behind. The cemetery was almost deserted. Gray clouds loomed low, casting a somber hue across the landscape. A light breeze stirred the scent of damp soil and faded roses. Harrison moved slowly down the narrow gravel path, hands buried in his overcoat pockets, eyes fixed on the ground. No one ever came with him. He didn't want them to. No one needed to witness this part of him, the broken part that never healed. When he reached the grave, he knelt. The headstone read, Caleb Thomas Whitaker, beloved son, forever missed. He placed a single white rose beneath the inscription and stared in silence. He never spoke during these visits, never cried. His face remained stoic. But inside, the weight was unbearable. It always had been. He was about to leave when he noticed a small figure standing on the other side of the grave. A boy, no older than 10, wearing a blue hoodie and clutching something in his hand. He hadn't been there before. Harrison stared, puzzled. The boy didn't move. He was staring at Caleb's grave. Harrison frowned. No one else ever came here. This was supposed to be his private moment. He cleared his throat. Excuse me, he said, not unkindly, but firm. The boy looked up, startled. His eyes were large and earnest. I just came to say hi to Caleb, he said quietly. The name hit Harrison in the chest like a hammer. You knew my son? The boy nodded. He used to visit me at the hospital. A long pause followed. Harrison couldn't speak, couldn't process what he was hearing. Caleb had never told him about hospital visits. Not once. You're sure it was him? He asked. Yes. He read to me, brought me this, the boy said, holding up a battered toy race car. It was old, worn, but clearly treasured. He said it was lucky. Said if I held it, I'd feel brave. Harrison stared. He remembered that car. Caleb used to play with it as a child. Always had it in his backpack. What's your name? Harrison asked softly. Noah. Harrison swallowed. Something about this boy, about Noah, was unraveling things inside him that had been shut down for years. Noah stood quietly, fingers tightening around the toy. He made me laugh when I was really sick, he said. Even when he looked tired, he came. Read books. Brought cookies. Played board games. Said we made his day better. Harrison lowered himself to sit on the stone edge beside the grave. He didn't care about the cold. Or the dirt. For once, the facade didn't matter. He never told me, Harrison said, voice rough. He never said a word. He didn't want anyone to know, Noah replied. He just wanted to help. The simplicity of that truth struck Harrison with more force than any business failure or press scandal ever had. They sat there for a while. The wind quieted. Noah spoke in fragments, sharing memories, stories, laughter. The bear Caleb gave a lonely girl. The way he always brought an extra snack for kids who didn't eat hospital food. The way he stayed after his visits ended, just to sit with kids who were scared. Each story peeled back a layer of Caleb that Harrison had never known. A life quietly lived, full of warmth and kindness, far from headlines or stock reports. When the boy's mother, Elise, came from the car to collect him, Harrison did something that surprised them both. He invited them to lunch. Over sandwiches and soup at a quiet diner nearby, Elise shared more. How Caleb had paid for Noah's treatments anonymously when insurance denied coverage. How the nurses only discovered his identity after he passed. He never told us his last name, she said. We had no idea he was your son. Harrison was stunned. Caleb had kept it all to himself. That night, Harrison couldn't sleep. He kept thinking about what Elise said. He saw pain and didn't look away. Days later, Harrison visited St. Joseph's Pediatric Hospital, the same place Noah had stayed. Nurses remembered Caleb. A janitor pointed to a wall of photos, one of Caleb surrounded by children, reading with animated expressions. He was magic, one nurse said. A doctor told him about a boy who hadn't spoken since surgery. Caleb sat with him every week. After a month, the boy whispered, Caleb. Tears filled Harrison's eyes. That visit changed him. Weeks later, Harrison held a press conference. Not to announce a merger. but to announce the Caleb Whitaker Foundation. Its mission: fund treatments, bring joy to sick children, give them what his son had given. But Harrison didn't stop there. He showed up. He read stories, delivered toys, sat beside beds. The media didn't know what to make of it, but Harrison didn't care. He was finally honoring Caleb's memory the way it deserved. Noah, now in remission, became part of his life. Harrison visited regularly, listened, helped with homework, laughed. One day, Noah asked, "Can I call you Grandpa?" Harrison's voice cracked. Grandpa sounds perfect. They became family, not by blood, but by love. A year after that first meeting, Noah stood beside Harrison at Caleb's grave. He placed a flower down gently, whispered, "Thank you, Caleb." Harrison knelt beside him, eyes full. "You changed the world, son," he said. "And you changed me." Sometimes, the greatest legacies are not built in glass towers, but in the quiet ways we show up for others. Caleb never needed recognition. Just heart. Just kindness. And now, through Noah, through the foundation, through Harrison's transformation, Caleb's light burned on. A light not buried, but blooming. A love that never died. As the foundation grew, so did Harrison's understanding of his son's quiet brilliance. More hospitals reached out with stories of Caleb's visits. A nurse from Chicago sent in a hand-drawn thank you card Caleb had received, signed by over 20 children. One letter stood out, written in a child's shaky handwriting. "Caleb made me forget I was sick. He made me feel like a superhero." Harrison had the note framed. He started traveling to hospitals across the country, quietly, without cameras. He sat in therapy circles, donated therapy dogs, sponsored music and art therapy wings under Caleb's name. And at every location, he made time to listen, not as a businessman, but as a father still learning who his son truly was. Every year on the anniversary, Harrison and Noah visited the grave together. But this time, they weren't alone. Children whose lives had been saved or uplifted came with them. Some brought drawings. Others brought letters. One child brought a small race car, wrapped in a ribbon. They placed each offering gently on the grass. That day, Caleb's grave wasn't a place of mourning. It was a place of light, of laughter, of love. And above it all, a small plaque read, "In honor of Caleb Whitaker, a heart that gave without asking, a life that changed many." Harrison looked around and smiled. His son was gone, but his spirit had built something that would never fade. And in the eyes of every smiling child, Harrison saw proof. Love never ends. It only finds new ways to grow.